There are so many great games and gaming franchises out there that sometimes it's easy to forget about some other excellent series that may have been discontinued. Sometimes the studio closes or the franchise is sold, or the team behind a great franchise gets disbanded or starts working on different games. The reasons why some franchises are stopped are numerous and diverse. But no matter what reasons the companies give, there are certain franchises that should be revived, and the majority of gaming fans can agree on that. I'm Josh, welcome to HotFix Gaming. Today, let's look at 10 of these gaming franchises that should be revived. Let's get started. Number 10. Burnout. While Gran Turismo is credited with being the creator of the racing game simulator, it is Burnout that is ultimately considered one of the best arcade racing series ever. The game also introduced a boost system, which earned you what was effectively nitrous for driving dangerously without making any sort of contact with incoming traffic. Burnout 2 Point of Impact was released just a year after the first game, and it really took crashing and the boost to a whole new level. After Burnout 2's success, Criterion, the developers of the franchise, were bought by EA. Under EA, Burnout would go on and release 6 more games, bringing in a lot of money for the company. While EA was the reason behind these series' success, it was also the downfall of the franchise. It sounds crazy, we know, but with the Criterion team being pulled into developing Need for Speed, helping with other games such as Battlefield and Star Wars Battlefront, there was little time for the small studio to produce any more Burnout games. We did, however, get a remaster of Burnout Paradise to celebrate the series' 10th anniversary in 2018. But let's be honest, we need more than that. Number 9. Prototype. Back in 2009, Radical Entertainment developed the action-adventure title Prototype, and Activision published it. The game put players in control of Alex Mercer, a man living in Manhattan who could shapeshift and had to stop a plague known as Blacklight. 3 years later, Radical Entertainment released the sequel, Prototype 2, which sold well, but it did not sell well enough, and Radical Entertainment was downsized. Since 2012, Activision has been sitting on the great Prototype IP with no indication that they're producing or even thinking about developing a new game, which is quite a shame, with superheroes rising in popularity. Even if Microsoft doesn't revive the Prototype series, the games still hold up today and are well worth playing. Number 8. Knights of the Old Republic. A new Knights of the Old Republic just seems like an easy call at this point. The 2 games in the Star Wars RPG franchise are considered by many as some of the best Star Wars stories told in the video game medium. After the release of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2, The Sith Lords in 2004, the series took a turn into the MMO landscape, releasing the Old Republic MMORPG that is still alive and thriving today. But so many are clamoring for more of that single-player Star Wars experience. While a KOTOR 3 does seem a little out of the question, as Disney launched its new High Republic initiative, exploring stories from the era long before movies across TV, books and film. But why not a Knights of the High Republic? Number 7. Jak and Daxter. During the PlayStation 2 era, the Jak and Daxter series was developer Naughty Dog's bread and butter. The franchise started with Jak and Daxter, the precursor legacy in 2001, and continued with Jak 2 in 2003 and Jak 3 in 2004. Jak X Combat Racing, released in 2005, received such mixed reviews that Naughty Dog decided to focus its attention on the first Uncharted game instead. The last game in this franchise was not even developed by Naughty Dog, but instead passed to High Impact Games. Since 2009, nothing was heard of Jak and Daxter anymore, up until recently when rumors of a movie started surfacing. According to a leaker, there's a possibility of a movie being made based on the game series. The leaker has also mentioned that Tom Holland and Chris Pratt are being considered for the roles of Jak and Daxter, but that has not yet been confirmed. Whether the franchise will make a comeback through a live-action movie is still yet to be seen, but fans are optimistic. 6. Banjo-Kazooie. Banjo-Kazooie won fans over with delightful humor, fun platforming and memorable characters. And unlike other franchises that often stick to one platform, the series has had multiple games appear on both Nintendo and Xbox consoles, which helped Microsoft and Nintendo come to an agreement to include Banjo-Kazooie as a playable character in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Despite there being no new game in the Banjo-Kazooie franchise since 2008, fans are still optimistic that Rare could bring the characters back in the future, especially since Xbox are looking to bolster their line of exclusive games. But What is even more exciting is the possibility of Microsoft and Nintendo deciding to collaborate on future games in the series in a potential crossover game with other Nintendo characters. Number 5. SSX Series. This extreme snowboarding series was a staple on the Xbox and PlayStation 2. While EA tried to revive the franchise back in 2012, it only got lukewarm results. But still, SSX has an attitude that was undeniable and a gameplay style to back it up. While there are other sport titles produced nowadays, the arcadey nature of the snowboarding gameplay is something that is largely missing from today's gaming scene. Probably one of the big draws of this franchise was the cast of characters that the game boasted, each one of them with their own personalities and stories to follow along with. Hopefully, since EA is trying to get back on the track slowly but surely, there might be a hope for a new SSX being released. Number 4. Spyro. Yes, we know that the original Spyro games received a full remaster in 2018, which sold incredibly well, but no actual new games have been released in this franchise. The success of Spyro Reignited Trilogy should have been a sign to Activision that fans need and want a new game. The remastered trilogy was the best-selling PS4 game in Australia during the first week of its release. Spyro still has a huge amount of die-hard fans who have more than enough room for a brand new Spyro title in their collection. Not to mention the younger audience that a successful entry would no doubt appeal to. Maybe with the Microsoft acquisition of Activision Blizzard, Spyro might get the chance to make a comeback. Number 3. Sly Cooper. While nowadays game mascots are not as trendy, back during the PS2 days, you were either a Sly Cooper, Ratchet & Clank or Jak and Daxter fan. Of course, there was an overlap, but it seems like oftentimes people had found themselves having to choose one when they were younger. Since all the games were critical successes, it was thought at the time that Sly Cooper was destined to become the next big name in the platformer genre. But we're not sure what happened with the series. There was at some point rumors of an animated film, though that never happened. We know that developer Sucker Punch might be busy with the very successful Ghost of Tsushima, but we do hope they would consider reviving this beloved series. Number 2. Splinter Cell. Pure stealth games seem like a hard sell these days, but with a strong name like Tom Clancy and Splinter Cell behind it, the franchise already seems primed for a return. Fans have been teased for years now as insider reports have flooded the internet, all of which have never materialized. The saddest thing about the long wait for this return is seeing the game's protagonist, Sam Fisher, pop up in random Ubisoft titles. This stealth action series is adored by many, and the reaction audiences would have seeing those iconic night vision goggles light up in a reveal trailer would rival that of any major gaming announcement of the last 20 years. People want to get back into the world of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, and they want to see more of Sam Fisher. Rumors have been circulating for about 2 to 3 years of a potential new title, so now all it's needed is for Ubisoft to confirm it. Number 1. Castlevania. The gothic action RPG platformer is one of the all-time video game greats. While the most recent titles in this franchise have not reached the heights like Symphony of the Night once did, there is no saying that a new Castlevania would not work in 2023 or 2024. A return to Form 2D Castlevania reboot in the style of Symphony of the Night would have the industry ablaze in excitement. Though Konami seems to be on the verge of leaving the gaming space as a whole, why not let some talented developers have a crack at the IP and see what they can do? Give the Hollow Knight team a shot at Castlevania and it would be almost a guaranteed magic. Castlevania at one point was one of gaming's biggest names, and now it's only associated with a decent Netflix anime and some pachinko machines in Japanese arcades. The franchise deserves so much better, and if a revival were to happen, now would be the perfect time. But what game franchises do you think should be revived? Let us know in the comments section below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again in our next video.